The world is messed up, but I do think there's thing that as a man you can individually do to make your life better regardless of the situation. I'm just going to assume that the average person can do something about their own life to make it better. And there are, generally speaking, three areas that can actually have some improvement. Now, I'm not going to discount myself here because I may be lazy or I may procrastinate in doing things. So I'm just going to go ahead. And these are the three things that I think are fundamental to every man. Number one, work, finances. There is always something you can do for finances. It may not be luxurious, it may not pay well, but it pays something. And it's kind of cliche saying, why would I work if I can't sustain myself? I mean, the reality is you basically work bad wages or be homeless. There's really no choice there. Now, in the case of finances, what you really want to do is, if you can cover your basic needs and save some money, immediately invest it in anything that you believe that will sustain yourself for the years to come. Typically speaking, what they recommend is open up a Roth IRA, right? And invest in a total market index fund that protects all of it, and just put all the extra money that you can. The only reason you need to do that right now is because you're trying to build a nest egg. And then eventually what you want to do is you now start developing side hustles. You have to do your research on this. I cannot guarantee you what side hustle you should get into, because the moment I recommend something, it might not actually turn out to be good. I mean, you've heard the videos online, 50 ways on how to make money of unusual side hustles. I mean, every single time I watch one of those videos, I cringe, because I know most of the time they will never work for the average person. And that's what you have to think about. What does the average person, or what could the average person do to make his life financially better? So you have to start researching into side hustles of anything. I mean, AI is your friend. Test a bunch of things, question it, think about how this is going to affect the future for yourself. You know, there is always a way. There is always an answer for things. It may not be the easiest or the funnest, but you'll get an answer. I guarantee you that. And then number three, for finances specifically, is you want to hopefully start making money through your side hustle, that it replaces your regular job. At that point, you now start accumulating wealth. I know this sounds like a crazy simple idea, easy to do, but the reality is, I understand all of this takes time, but this is just we're talking about hypotheticals here, right? That is what I can tell you about finances. Now, number two of the list, we're talking about food. This is a big one. I'm a huge proponent of looking and re-examining at your diet. Most Americans eat like crap. I mean, 2/3 of Americans are projected to get diabetes by 2050. I think that's already here, but that's not the point. My point about food is we eat so much crap food that we don't even realize how bad it is. I mean, not even accounting for the laced and chemically induced products that are sold in supermarkets every day. Organic food doesn't really matter. It's all laced with things like glyphosate, which is a huge endocrine disruptor. But food, this is what you gotta do to actually live a normal, decent life. And people say this is expensive. It isn't. From my personal experience, the best diet that I can think about for my body is a animal-based diet. Now, why do I say this? Well, I happen to research a lot about how heart conditions develop. One heart condition that I realized that people always talk about as the leading cause of death is heart attack. Now I started to question, why do heart attacks happen? Let's look at where the blood is filtered from, and the oxygen where it's pumped through the heart, then goes through the lungs, etc., right? But in order for that to go through the heart, it has to be cleansed, and that goes through the kidneys. Now, what also processes the kidneys? Sugar. If you think about it that way, sugar is being processed in large amounts through the kidneys. And People who consume large amounts of carbohydrates, aka sugars, they become insulin resistant. When they become insulin resistant, you know what happens? Their kidneys start shutting down until, voila, they get diagnosed as diabetic type 2. This led me to believe in the following hypothesis. If the kidneys stop failing and they cannot process the blood, that means that they don't have very good oxygen going through the heart. And this, hypothetically speaking, could affect the way that the heart operates, even before any other chemicals are considered, right? So my idea was that if we can limit the amount of sugars, carbohydrates in our body to nearly 0 grams a day, hypothetically speaking, your kidneys pump good blood and your heart pumps good blood. And my conclusion for this was animal-based products have the lowest carbohydrate content. That is food, diet. And then number 3, and I think people really underestimate or overestimate how it is, but it's still extremely important, and that is exercise. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, I am lazy. I haven't gone to the gym in ages. I am going to the gym tomorrow because I got some training, but I am extremely lazy. But I understand one thing and one thing extremely importantly. You can have all the great diet that you want, but you need some serious stressing exercises to build your muscles and your bones. It doesn't matter how good you eat. If you never employ those muscles, you will be weak. So I implore you, especially you gentlemen, go to the gym. Make your own gym. There has to be a way out for you to become physically stronger, and which affects your mentality, right? Which then is affected by the food that you eat, which then affects the performance that you do for the financial world. So ladies and gentlemen, remember, finances, food, and exercise. Have a good night.